What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and in the last video we went through our first off-season with Murray State. It was a lot of fun. We brought in 15 new players plus 3 transfers. They won't be able to play this season, but you better believe it, they will play the following season. We went through our position changes, player cuts, which we didn't have any, and all that jazz. So today we're going to go through all of our preseason stuff to get ready for the upcoming season. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I already went ahead and made this schedule. I didn't want to bore you with me trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And if you remember, my one schedule rule is whatever current program prestige I'm at, I will schedule an extra ranked team. So we are still a one-star program, which means we are going to schedule 2 ranked teams. As you can see here, we got Tennessee, number 2 in the country, week 1. They won the national championship the previous year, so we're taking on the defending national champions out of the gate. I was not able to move this. I wanted to play Tennessee anyways. I just didn't want to do it week 1. But I had no choice. I couldn't move them around, and I had other options, Virginia, Wisconsin, and Arkansas. But I added a 12th game. 2006 was the year that everybody, I think, went to 12 games. So going forward, I will schedule 12 games. So we'll go back up to the very top. Out of the gate at Tennessee, then we got to play West Kentucky and Eastern every single year. Last year we played at Western, or we played at home against Western. Now we're going over there, taking on New Mexico State, and you'll just notice a theme here. I pretty much scheduled a whole new pack of teams, minus Western Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky. I wanted to vary things up a little bit, mix it up some. So we've got New Mexico State and Florida Atlantic at home. Then we're going to Nebraska. That's my second ranked game on the schedule. It's been a while since I played in that stadium. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Got an open date. Then we got Central Michigan at home. Then Rice at home. Then we go to Troy. Got another open date. We're going to Northwestern. They're kind of like my Notre Dame for this year. I really thought about scheduling Notre Dame again because that was just like our big game from last season. But we're still not big enough for Notre Dame to ever come here. I want to wait till we're like a 3-star maybe before we would ever consider Notre Dame would be willing to come to our stadium. So I decided to go with Northwestern instead. I figured that wouldn't be too big, too unrealistic. We got Hawaii at home, then at Arkansas State. Another open date. Then, of course, we finish the season with Eastern Kentucky at home. So that is the schedule. 12 games. I'm super excited. Should be a whole lot of fun. Now, let's go to Redshirt Players. Here's where we're going to get our first glimpse of what the team's really going to look like. We're going to start off with quarterback. You know, our top quarterback is Bo Davis, the transfer. I believe he's from Nebraska. I think that's where he came from. Of course, he can't play, and he's already redshirted, so we're only going to have him for 1 year. But everybody else is redshirted here at quarterback. And just so you know, we're going to start CT just because he done well enough last year to earn it. Now we got the halfback situation. Now, Ronnie Drummer is another transfer. He came from Duke. Thankfully, we can redshirt this guy, so we're definitely going to do that. Since he can't play this year, you might as well redshirt him. That way we'll have him for hopefully 2 years. Hopefully he doesn't do so well next year where he'll want to leave early. But having this guy for 2 years is great. 93 speed. We're going to do a lot of cool things with him when the time comes. So our halfback situation is really the same as what we had last year, plus a new addition. Ulysses Odoms, he's back this year. He's our starter. But he's going to split carries with true freshman Chris Griffin. If you remember, he was the athlete turned halfback. Griffin was a 65 overall at a couple of other spots. I think it was cornerback and free safety. But we had enough depth there, enough bodies, to where I needed him more here. So it's good to have a little bit more depth at halfback, even though he's not all that great. He's got 84 speed. He's faster than Odoms and Lane. He's a little stronger. His awareness is down. That's the only reason why he's probably a 65. Agility is not as good as Lane and Odoms, so he can't do a lot of crazy jukes. I mean, he probably can a little bit, but moving him around is going to be kind of tough. He's more of a straight line downhill runner. He's got the size. I mean, he's 6'3", 203. His acceleration is good. His catch is terrible. That's why he couldn't play receiver. His carry is just as good, technically. I mean, 68 is bad, but it's just as good as Odoms and Lane. But he can really jump, too, which I found interesting. I don't look at jump super hard enough. I wonder, I know it helps a little bit, like on jump balls and stuff. But either way, this guy can jump. And he can break tackles a little bit better than the other two. So it's good to have him on board. You're going to see him play a lot this year for sure. We definitely will not be redshirting him. We got our two fullbacks. I switched our coaching style to balanced just so we didn't have to bother with having so many wide receivers. But we still got two fullbacks here. They're both juniors. Baxter, you're going to see him play a whole lot more than he done last year. I haven't completely made up my mind what I'm going to do offensively. It may end up being a hodgepodge of things because you're going to see real quickly how limited I am offensively in terms of my skill players. Because outside of Odoms and Griffin and Lane, I mean, that's just still nothing great to get excited about. Unfortunately, my fullback here, he can't do anything. He's got 72 speed, but he can't carry 68 carry, I guess, is just as good as the other guys. But he can't catch. So he'll be a running or a blocking fullback for us. He may be able to carry it some, but his speed's just too slow for me to think about really doing that. And I'm not going to do any heavy triple option stuff. I just don't think it would work well. Wide receiver, this is where things get interesting. We got Josh Morgan, the other transfer. I think he came from, oh my gosh, I already forgot. I have to go back and look at the video. But anyway, he can't play this year, and unfortunately, he's already redshirted. So we're only going to have him for one season. So our starters at wide receiver is going to be true freshman Justin Clark, number 87. The guy who finally committed. We tried our hardest to get him, and I guess perseverance came through. But he's 6'4". He's our fastest receiver, at least the one who's going to play this year. And he doesn't have as good a jump, but he's just 6'4". That's all you really need to know about that. You can go back and look at his catch is 76. He's definitely our best catcher. I mean, of course, minus Morgan. Then our number 2 receiver is going to be Dan Anderson. He's only 5'11", 165. He's not strong at all. And his catch is just a 70. And his speed is an 84. But I feel like just for now, until I figure things out, he'll be my number 2 wide receiver. Number 88, true freshman. So that is what, at least, that's 2 true freshmen we know that's going to start. DeLume, I didn't know about this. I can't believe I didn't even pay attention. But apparently, he's as slow as could be as a wide receiver. I didn't know he was just a 72 speed. I guess we were so depleted at wide receiver last year outside of Biggers. So it'll be interesting to see who my number 3 receiver is going to be. It's either going to be true sophomore Coleman, which is probably the case. He's much faster than DeLume. He's a little bit bigger and he's a little bit stronger. He may be my Z receiver, while Anderson may be my slot guy. I'm not really sure yet. But I don't want to redshirt them because I don't have enough bodies as is. I barely have 5 guys that can play receiver this year. And I'm quite positive I'm going to use a couple of sets. They're going to be 4 wide. So I don't think it's worth redshirting any of these. Definitely these 2 I can't. I have to have them play. Coleman is the iffy, but for right now, I don't think I need to redshirt him. I'm pretty sure I'll use him in some capacity. Especially if I think he's going to be playing better than the Loom. Tight end, Jimmy St. Louis. Looks like he's a first team NCAA All-American. That's nice. The problem is at tight end, outside of him, we definitely have nothing. Now, you got to remember we moved Whitaker over last year, and that worked out fairly well. But we don't have a wide receiver that's just as good as Whitaker when you moved him over. I think he was 56 overall. And you're going to see that in the depth chart, how we just don't have anything at the number 2 tight end spot. Which means we're not going to be doing much power shoot. We just don't have it. So we got to adjust, which is fine. That's the fun part. But Jimmy St. Louis, you better believe it, the ball's going to get to him one way or another this year. Tackle. We only got 4 guys, so I'm definitely not going to redshirt any of them. Our best tackle is Wayne Lomax, senior. And then we got a battle at left tackle. I can either play the senior Ben Rush or true freshman Daniel Crowell. I'm definitely going to go with this guy just because he's bigger. He's 6'6", 281 compared to 6'1", 246. That guy should never be playing left tackle. And I always like to have backups for my starters, so I always like to have a minimum of 4 ready on the go at all times. So I'm not going to redshirt him. Guard. You can't redshirt anybody here, but at least we got 2 guys that are serviceable, Woods and Buckles. Center, he's our starter, Dustin Hughes, 65 overall. We obviously can't redshirt him. We're going to go with a 4-3. I may actually mix up some 3-4. We'll kind of see here. But here, a defensive end. It's another weak spot for us. We just couldn't bring any defensive ends, and we don't have any linebackers that were big enough to move down. At least not this year. It's possible next season. But we can't redshirt anybody here. Looks like it's Owens and Blake that are going to be our starters there. Defensive tackle, we got enough bodies here. None of them are all that great, but at least we got true freshman Tim Royal. Definitely going to start along with Ronald Crossley and their backups. So we're definitely not redshirting Royal. Here's where things going to get pretty fun. We finally, I think, we've done our best on the defensive side of things, recruiting-wise. And Andrew Abdullah, true freshman, is definitely going to be our starting left outside linebacker. And Marcus Allen is going to start on the right side. You notice that when it comes to moving defense or linebackers to defensive end, I'm a big believer height and weight. Of course, we know that matters in this game, but I like to have them to have a little bit of size. For me, it's usually like 6'2", 230 pounds is enough for me to put on the ends. So if for whatever reason I feel like I can move somebody down, it may be possible one of these guys may go down. I'm guessing they're going to stay where they're at. I think we got a middle linebacker that may be big enough to move down. But Rohan Godson, we may redshirt him as a junior because we already got backups that are just as bad. So I think I may just redshirt him for the sake. He's just 52 overall. But I may redshirt him for the sake of it. As long as I have backups behind the starters, I'm good. Middle linebacker. Ernest Potts, perhaps our best pickup in the offseason. Definitely starting a middle linebacker. He's only got 74 speed, but that's way better than what we had last year. Well, our best middle linebacker is 52 overall. So going up 24 spots is a big deal. And his backup, Marcus Walker, true freshman, 6'4", 222. He doesn't have a whole lot of speed, but that's why I think it's possible he could be a potential defensive end candidate next season. He's a little undersized for my liking, but I'd rather have his 70 speed at defensive end than 70 speed at middle linebacker, if that makes sense. He'll always be backing up the Potts anyways. I can't redshirt him because we're going to need him. I mean, he's a 68 overall. We don't have that many guys with that high of rating. So I'm not going to redshirt him. Now, what I can do is redshirt this other true freshman, Corey Hardy. I definitely don't mind doing that. If this kid was any bit taller, I'll take this back. This guy may be a good defensive end candidate. He's big enough. He's weight-wise. He's big enough for me. Height, that's not that big of a deal. Weight's more important, and he's faster. And just a 59 overall, I'll definitely probably put him a defensive end next year. But for now, I don't think we'll need him. We're going to redshirt him. We're also going to redshirt Matt Weber. He's a senior. Now, we may just leave him as he is. I don't feel like we need to bring him back. So I'm okay with that. So you may see some 4-4. You may see some 3-4, depending on the situation, just because I want Walker on the field some as well. Corner, we done a good job here. Mark Freeman and Keenan Greco, two true freshmen. Both of them are 6'4". That's my type of corner. You better believe it. Both of them will be starting, along with Galashaw. These are my three guys right here. We're going to play a lot of nickel. Don't know how much dime we're going to play. That's why I'm thinking I may just redshirt this guy. We just won't need him. I won't be doing any dime. I don't think we'll have to. We got enough linebackers to where we'll never have to play any dime. I can't make up my mind whether to put Galashaw in nickel or move him around. Maybe when we just get in nickel, I could put him in the nickel position. But when we're in the 4-3, 4-4, what have you, I may have him where he's at. I can't make up my mind, only because of his speed. I think his speed off the edge on zone blitzes would be killer, as opposed to just sticking him on one side. We'll see about that. I haven't made up my mind on it. But those are our three guys that are going to be playing a lot. And Greco is a good chance he may be playing some special teams with his speed. We'll see. Free safety, we done a decent job here. Actually, we got two freshmen, two guys. None of them are very good. We got bodies at least. Now, of course, our starter's Nick Turner. What I plan on doing is this guy is obviously going to be the starter for next season, unless I bring in somebody better. I don't think we'll need him this year. Let's go ahead and just redshirt Green, and I'll have Cobbs back. No, we'll redshirt both of them. I think that's going to work out. We'll have Williams back up Turner, and hopefully they can stay healthy enough that we won't need either. Neither one's good enough to start, so let's just go ahead and redshirt and be done with it. Strong safety, Demetric Westbrook. He's our starter. We can't redshirt anybody here. We can't redshirt a kicker. He's a redshirt senior, and we got a redshirt junior at punter. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but we only ended up with, as of now, we have 2 impact players. We'll check that in the roster, but I'm pretty sure it's Jimmy St. Louis and Galashaw. Those are our 2 impact guys. We need to find a third one. Hopefully, I wish it's like Odoms or somebody else. We need an offensive skill guy to be an impact player. So, we're finished with the redshirting. What we can do is, of course, we can't do any in-season recruiting because we're still a 1-star. Remember my 1 recruiting rule. You go 1 star above your current program prestige. I'm currently a 1-star, which means I can still only recruit 1 and 2 stars. Hopefully we have a good enough season this year where we can get that extra star so we can get into the 3-star category of recruiting. But right now we can't. Therefore, I'm not going to recruit any in during the season. I wish I could, but I'm not going to. All right, let's check out Athlon Sports. Preseason polls. Michigan, Tennessee, USC. You go to the very bottom. They still got Eastern and Western Kentucky. And what's interesting about these guys is, if you remember in the recruiting video, both of them picked up a couple 4-stars. Now, I have no control over how these guys recruit. It is what it is, but I'm glad they kind of done that. That'll keep things interesting. These teams should always be at least halfway decent if they keep recruiting 3 and 4 stars every now and then. But they have us 13th in the country. We're a D overall. That's better than D minus what we were last season. But our biggest weakness is on offense because we just don't have enough good skill players to do damage. So we're going to have to do some heavy scheming around that. Heisman watch. Chad Henne at Michigan. Eric Ainge at Tennessee. Jared Zabransky of Boise. Rhett Bomar at Oklahoma. And Cameron Colvin, wide receiver at Oregon. So that's pretty cool. Of course, all this will change throughout the season. Preseason All-Americans. Let's go down the list here. If we're going to take on any of these guys, it should be Tennessee, Nebraska, Northwestern. Okay, yeah, Jimmy St. Louis, apparently the top tight end in the country. We're going to hopefully stick with that. Hopefully he can win an award this year. He's going to get the ball a ton. So if you love tight ends, and you want to figure out how to get them the ball, you may see quite a bit of that this season. We're going to do more than just do go routes. The power shoot, I enjoyed having him going deep just because he was such a mismatch nightmare for everybody that we went up against. But I'm going to have him do a few extra things this year unless something changes. Looks like Rice has a first-team All-American. That's probably because they run the ball so much that he probably had enough pancakes last season to get the nod on that one. So that's pretty cool to see. Hawaii has an All-American defensive tackle. We're taking on them this year. Tulsa, Texas, just kind of looking. And Brent Colquitt is back. I think he won the punter award last year. Second team, Eric Ainge. Good for him. We're going to have to take him on. Michigan, Vanderbilt, Kansas, Cal. Let's see. Keep on going. We played Kent State last year. We took on that guard. Boise, NC State, Iowa, Michigan, Oregon. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. And I mean, we can look at the independent thing, but this doesn't say a whole lot because there's only 4 teams in the conference, and it's not even a conference, so I'm not going to waste your time. Conference outlook, I'm guessing they're going to have a second, and they are. That's what I figured. Just because we beat these, we actually beat all 3. But Notre Dame's got more talent than we do, so it only makes sense. Toughest places to play, we don't have to worry about that. I mean, we can look here. This supposedly changes over time. I don't know if you can get a team into the top 25. It's possible. I'd have to go back and look, but I think you can. Let's go to coach options. There's really nothing to see here. This is all simulation, and we're not going to sim anything. This is the most important part. Offensive type and base defense. I switched it to balance for now. What I'll probably do is go back to spread because I don't think we're going to be needing fullback. I don't know. I may just leave it at balance. Let's just do that. We're going to stay as a 4-3. Everything else, we got all that off. Just want to make sure all that looks good. We can look at our report card. Our job security looks good. Now, I don't know if we can go 5-6 this year. We lost Biggers, and we couldn't replace him with anybody of equal talent. Of course, we could play Galashaw more on offense, but I'm just not sure how much I want to play him. But either way, our offense is going to take a bit of a hit. But our defense got better, so we'll see. Just looking here, like I said, the job security is good. So if things get really bad this year, we still shouldn't get fired. Because if we could just get to the third season, I think we'll be doing well because we got those 3 transfers who are really going to make a difference in our program. Rosters and playbook. We'll go through the playbook in the next video because I haven't made up my mind yet what to do offensively. Let's go to depth chart. CT is going to start over Nixon. Halfback, Odoms, Griffin, Lane. That's what I need to see. They're going to split carries. We're going to use formation subs to kind of get them a little bit of everywhere. Fullback, I'm fine with that. Wide receiver, here's where, I think this is what I'm going to do. Clark, Anderson, Coleman, and DeLume. Unless I do something really weird, like I have to put somebody in the slot for something, or put him somewhere else. For now, I'm just going to leave this as is. I know DeLume played a lot last year, but his speed is just not good enough for what we're probably going to do, since we're not going to do much power shoot. So speaking of, let's look at our tight ends. Here's where things get interesting. I actually tried to move DeLume. Oh, if you remember, I've done this in the last video. The problem is he's just a 48 overall, and he's just not very strong, and I need somebody who can at least block just a little bit. We just don't have anybody here. Now, here's what's interesting. Look who technically is our third best tight end on the team. It's our true freshman outside linebacker, Andrew Abdullah. He's a 56 overall. We got a right tackle here, Wayne Lomax. Of course, he's starting a right tackle. But Abdullah is a very interesting case. He's got 80 speed. His awareness is terrible. That's expected. His catch is a 65, which I thought was kind of weird. I mean, for a linebacker of all people. So if I plan on doing any type of parachute stuff, it's possible I may throw Abdullah in there somehow, some way. I haven't decided yet. Feel free to put in the comments if you think that's a good idea. I don't know what to do about that. But if I'm going to do any type of 2 tight end stuff where I need both tight ends catching, it's possible I may need to put him on my number 2 tight end. I just don't know yet. I don't want him on the field all the time because I need him to play quite a bit on defense. And I don't need him getting gassed constantly. So I don't know what to do about that. So, I mean, like for now, I can have DeLume as my number 2 guy simply because he's like 4th at wide receiver. So I'm going to leave it the same as he is for now. Left tackle, I'm going to have starting true freshman Daniel Crowell over Rush. We're good at left guard. We're good at center. We're good at right guard. And we're good at right tackle. Our offensive line may be the strength of the team in the grand scheme of things. You know, if you put it in perspective, 65, 65, 65, and 70. We don't have many units that have that many guys in the 60s. You know, we got a 62 and a 59 at defensive end. Defensive tackle, 62 and 62. You know, there's just not a whole lot to work with there. Who do I want to put as my 3rd guy? Let's put Speeg as my number 3. No, he's 222 pounds. I can't do that. I should have moved him. He's very slow. It would have made a difference. All right, never mind. We got to put Harris over Speeg just because of his size. I thought that was 322, not 222. Left outside linebacker, I want to... we're going to put Schultz there for now. I'm okay with what that looks like. Unless Weber. Was Weber a better one? At 52? Let's do that instead. We'll put Weber as our number 2 left outside linebacker. I'm good with what I see there. And right outside linebacker, I like what I see there. So we got 3 true freshmen at linebacker. Pretty cool. Now you get the corner. Again, this is something I may ask, your thoughts on. Pretty good chance I'll probably leave Galshaw. I like the idea of him pretty much shutting down one side of the field. But maybe in nickel packages, I'm not sure. I like the idea of maybe him coming through the slot. Otherwise, I may just have Greco or Free. I don't know. I can't make up my mind. Both of them are the same size guys. Awareness, that's why I got Freeman as my number 2. He's just a little bit smarter than Greco. and I never controlled corner, so awareness is very handy. So I may just leave it as is, and Greco could be a great nickel option coming off the edge with that 90 speed. So that may be the best decision. So I think I just made up my mind on that one right there. I think I just may leave it as is. Free safety, we're going to put our backup free safety right there. Williams behind Turner. Strong safety, I'm happy with that. Kicker, punter, that looks good. And for starting punter, all I care about is kick power and kick accuracy. Coleman is better than Gaither on that. So I'm going to just have Coleman do both duties, at kicker and punter. Kick returner, let's look here. We're going to have Morgan. No, he's a transfer. Can't do it. Dang it. Let's go, I guess, Clark. Let's just do Justin Clark. He's our biggers this year, basically. Then we got Greco. I'm okay with that. I would prefer somebody who could catch it a little bit better. But I need some speed. So let's just go ahead and keep Greco there. That's fine. I'm a little worried about corner. Sometimes they just drop the ball. But we'll see how that goes. For now, let's do Galashaw, Clark, and Greco. Because we don't have speed anywhere else. Our fastest guys is Galashaw, Greco, and then Morgan. No. Oh, that's right. He's a transfer. Dang it, I forgot. Clark, and then, yeah. So let's just leave that as is. Galashaw, Clark, and Greco. We'll do the same for punt return. And kickoff starter, yes. And long snapper, we'll just leave it as Hughes. Yeah, we'll do that. So let's go up to roster. Let's pick our captains. I'm pretty sure Galashaw is one and Jimmy St. Louis the other one. So we're going to leave that as is. But as you can tell, I only have 2 impact guys. So I need one extra guy. I would prefer it to be like Odoms or Lane or somebody. We've seen it before in the past. A true freshman could be an impact player. It happened in my Indiana Dynasty. So it can happen here. We'll see who gets it. I prefer it to be somebody on offense, though. Formation subs, we'll deal with that in the during a game. Program standards, you can go back if I can get to it. We got 68 points to play with. It's a little less than half. Our goal this year is we can knock that thing down quite a bit. That would be great. That's just more points for us to use in recruiting and training. Again, playbooks, audibles, we'll deal with that in the next video. And honestly, I think that's it. I don't know what else there is to look at. I can look really quick. One thing, okay, I'll leave you with this thought. Okay, let's go back to our roster. So you've seen my roster several times over. CT's going to be our starter. Now, you got to remember, he's got 68 speed. That's not great, but it's not terrible. That's a little bit doable. If you go in practice mode with a 68 speed guy at quarterback, you could do a couple things with them. We also have Odoms, Griffin, and, Lane done some damage for us last year. Between those two guys, CT, I can't do much with Baxter, but Clark, and it's a big drop-off after Clark. There's just nothing there at wide receiver. And we got Jimmy St. Louis, so I have some ideas offensively of what I want to do. Again, it may be a hodgepodge of things. I was talking to a friend of mine on the comment section last night. I may do a little wishbone. Technically, my best 11, outside, of course, your quarterback and your 5 offensive linemen, is a tight end, a fullback, 2 running backs, and a wide receiver. It's actually 31 personnel, technically. And there's not many 31 personnel formations out there. And like wishbone normal fits the offense perfectly. But I'm not overly concerned about having the best 11 out there at all times. I just need plays that work well for the team that could get us some points. So I haven't truly made up my mind yet what to do. I think I have some idea of how to run the ball a little bit better via formations and schemes. Maybe spread everything out and keep it simple in the box, run it that way, because if you look at our halfbacks, they're not very fast. So I can't just outrun everybody left and right. But maybe I can out-scheme them with formations, gaps, leverage and stuff. So I have some ideas about that. I'm just not sure. But with Elder's playing a little, has a little bit of speed. I may be able to run basic option stuff. I'm not going to do any triple. It's not worth it. It's too slow of a scheme, of a concept to use. And I need to get the ball out quick because our biggest problem offensively is this guy right here. True freshman left tackle, 56 overall. That's not good. So I have an idea that we probably need to get the ball out as quick as possible. That's what I'm thinking. Screens, get the ball out quick to our tight end. I think passing game-wise, Jimmy St. Louis and Justin Clark are going to get a lot of touches via the air. My halfbacks, none of them can catch the ball. So I would prefer my wide receiver, Justin Clark, and Jimmy St. Louis pretty much be the entire offense in the passing game. Run game, I don't mind these guys running the ball some. Odoms and Griffin. I do not mind that. So, having said all that, if you have any ideas of what may be best to do with that, let me know. You may come up with a decent idea and I'll be able to use it. This is probably the hardest challenge I have seen offensively in terms of trying to figure out how to scheme up something with a roster. And I've never had a roster where everybody's slow and my best player is a tight end. Like, I don't have any speed. The only other thing I can think of is to have Galashaw play some offensively, just a little bit. He can't play both ways all the time. He'll get gassed too early and too easily. But I wouldn't mind sprinkling him in some. I may have to do some gun bunch, wide receiver reverse type things. I don't know. We'll come up with something. But if you have any ideas, let me know. Alright guys, that is it in the next video. I don't have any tutorial stuff on my mind, so I'm really excited about this Dynasty. So my next video will probably just be the next game, which is at Tennessee in Knoxville on the Hill. It should be a lot of fun. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later.